This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages, right here on Jam on Toast. It's time for the Watch Spot. Salutations, I am Kamurai and I am conversation ready. We've got quite a bit of ground to cover. I've been off a couple weeks here. Just life kicking me in the butt. In the butt! I just wanted that camera motion. Sometimes you do things just to make yourself happy, not because it's the right choice. Am I right, alcoholics? So I'm torn where to start here. I kind of had the idea to start one place, and then when I'm looking over at my tabs and stuff, I started somewhere completely different. Normally we do start over on CBS. What we're gonna do, I think today, I'm gonna rearrange it just a little tiny bit, just a tiny bit. TBS and TNT. I normally don't talk about these platforms, but I got curious and I went out there because I remembered that The Detour is on TBS and that it has season 3 that I actually want to watch. I actually want to catch up on this. Unfortunately, you do need a subscription or whatever to watch past a certain point. So maybe there's a way to like watch like one episode a day or something, or I could just go watch it however I find it, but at the same time, I don't like doing that. I'd much rather watch through a legitimate source and give legitimate feedback about the experience if I'm going to do so. And it reminded me that Final Space is also on TBS. I fucking want to watch that, so I may end up watching the first episode or whatever on TBS.com just to see if it's actually worth it. And for whatever reason, my bookmark shortcut, whatever, was on TNT, which is their drama side. TBS is kind of the comedy side. And it turns out Dakota Fanning is in The Alienist. There's a couple other faces in there, but she was the one that jumped out at me because I hadn't seen her in a while. I was actually wondering what happened to Dakota Fanning, because when she was a little kid, she was in movies all the time. And then she transitioned... No, she didn't. She kept doing movies. She did Push. She did the Twilight Saga. And I guess now she's transitioned to television. And it used to be that if that was the case, that was an indication that the actor's struggling, or they're not able to make it because everyone wants to be in the movies. And then television was a place where movie actors went to die, because they couldn't make it on the big screen anymore. But I really think it's much more fluid than that, and I'm hoping good things for her. It just kind of looks like it's in old-timey Britain. Kind of like Sweeney Todd years, or Sherlock Holmes is probably a better reference. So, eventually, I'll figure out how to watch those, give a little feedback. I also went onto NBC.com, and I noticed a couple shows on there that I had noticed that I'd wanted to see them, but I figured I'd see them on Hulu. Hulu did not advertise them in my face like it does every other fucking thing I don't want to watch, so I missed it, and so I'm catching up now. That was... I'll get to it because it's on the recent history. Since I talked to you last on this channel, their roosterteeth.com upgraded their website, and then they subsequently upgraded their app. The website sorely needed it. I feel like the website works a lot better this way. Unfortunately, I just wanted it to fucking work like the app used to work, and I don't like this new layout. Especially on the app. I think the app's much harder to use now, where before it was perfect. It was like, yep, I can blast through here, I can see what I want to see, I can go to it, and now it's fucking horrible. I've got to like make sure I'm punching on tiny things to do it. So I click on the icons, like it doesn't behave the same. Maybe I'm misusing something there, and it's more of a problem of their content. I need to go back and start watching what's John's show called? That's how long I haven't seen it. And they don't put the name in the title episodes anymore, but it's on Rooster Teeth. It's their improv show that John Reisinger does. Overcooked. I could watch Overcooked. Wait a minute. Okay, I don't know. Like, there's like a boob physics video. I'm like, that has to be old. Like, people haven't talked about boob physics in a while. The internet is a strange, strange place, but I feel like I'm actually almost out of the wheelhouse of what the show on the spot. That's the show I wanted to talk about. I haven't watched it in a while. I need to catch up on it. It's a great. It's a great idea for an improv show. It's kind of a Rooster Teeth twist on Whose Line, but not quite. So, oh yeah, I'm mad at spring break because I don't go to the beach or anything like that anymore. Oh, the Thursday night lineup posted. What is my computer doing? Oh, I'm happy to report CBS has upped their movie inventory. Bulletproof Monk, definitely go watch that. Give that a hit. If you can, go over to cbs.com/movies and watch Bulletproof Monk. Fish Called Wanda, that's a classic. Hotel Rwanda, wow. Curse of the Pink Panther, Call the Police, Moonstruck, the Pink Panther Strikes Again, Popeye. Wow, you want to go see an old Robin Williams flick? Do that. There's some return, like they bought the Pink Panther franchise is what it looks like. Son of the Pink Panther, Revenge of the Pink Panther, The Return of the Pink Panther. What's his other one? Where's the fucking title on that? A Shot in the Dark. Okay, it's not Pink Panther. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Stephen King's Thinner, which I think is Kevin Bacon. I can't tell because his face is up here. But if I remember right, that's actually a good one to go watch. Valkyrie, which with Tom Cruise, and I heard that it's not a good one, but I think they were talking about Vanilla Sky, if I'm being honest. And then Trail of the Pink Panther. Horrible that you couldn't group those all together and say Pink Panther. Boom. I really think the biggest movie on here, not for fame, because probably one of the Pink Panthers would take it, or Hotel Rwanda, honestly. But Bulletproof Monk. I think that would be my most recommended out of the CBS movies. That's pretty funny. And I wouldn't I honestly don't suggest the Robin Williams Popeye, because he did do a decent enough job bringing Popeye to life, but not one of his best works. Popeye is tentatively funny at best anyways. I need to catch up on, ooh, jeez. So, this is new. So, this is what it sounds like when you mouse over things on the CBS site. Isn't that a fun noise? It's absolutely not a fun noise. Why the fuck would you do that? The idea, I think, is that you mouse over it. Okay, now that one's not doing it. What if I do Big Bang Theory?
Just close the window if you don't like the smell.
So, that was well timed, Amy. Thank you, Amy Fairfowler. So some of them will actually start previewing the thing. It looks like if you do the top 3 rows, the bottom row doesn't seem to do it. So it'll actually start previewing the show, which it's not even previewing the beginning. It's showing you a random excerpt from the middle, which could potentially spoil things and actually ruin the content. Don't fucking do that. Just put it up. People are going to watch what they want to watch. And that's kind of what you got to depend on with like a web service like this, is that like it's hard to advertise for shows outside of shows. Because you're giving people stuff they didn't ask for, and I don't like that. But yeah, it's been interrupting the or spring break's been interrupting the flow of what's been coming up. So like this past week, the Monday night lineup didn't happen. I think the week before that it was the Thursday. Well, no, there's the Thursday, so I guess it was the week before that one. It was the Thursday night lineup. So yeah, so there's some weird gaps here and there. Yeah, that's what it was. It was 2 Thursdays ago. But I'll get caught up. They're all in pretty good places. The Big Bang Theory is kind of evening out as it's closing up. It's a very different show than it started. I'm not hating it as much, but it's definitely not good. I will say that. See, and then like I'm seeing this Cute Cop and Criminal Minds, and I'm definitely not going to watch the show, but I kind of want to see who it is. But the preview doesn't start with what the preview is showing. So, yeah, but that's right up there with like saying I'm going to go watch The Good Fight because I want to see Rose Leslie act, and I just don't do it. It's sad because I keep looking for stuff to put on at night, and I forget. Do 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 do. So yeah, so again, like I haven't seen Young Sheldon in a minute, but I generally really do like the show. I like where it's going. I like what they're doing with it. I like that they're keeping it separate from the Big Bang Theory, but still linked. It makes a lot of sense that way. Mom is hitting a weird spot because we're about to have like another big change in life, but focused on Christy, and I'm wondering how they're gonna rebound it because it's it's a big elastic band. It's a variation of extremes on that show. Life in Pieces continues to be a poor man's version of Modern Family that I actually prefer, especially in this day and age. Modern Family's done. They need to give up. They're trying to do the Degrassi thing where like we watch Lily grow up or all the kids grow up and keep it all in the same show. But you saw what happened to Glee. Honestly, you kind of saw what happened to Degrassi itself. You got to do it like Skins does, and you keep the other characters involved, but you put a new cast in for the primary. And then have the other ones roll in every now and again. It's what Glee started trying to do too late, I would say. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and abandon that. Over on the CW, I am delighted to say that Life Sentence has turned pretty amazing. I really am enjoying this dysfunctional family. Don't play the movie. Okay. We're up to, what, 5 episodes now? Yeah. No, don't play it. That was the CW thing. I didn't own that or anything like that. Episode 7 has me worried because it says Who Framed Stella Abbott, which is not good. But like they're going through all these things, and then particularly her with her husband, they're fighting the deportation type stuff where it's like, is he here illegally? Did he actually screw her? Like by trying to get a green card through a dying girl. And it's just like having that weight of stuff happening on the show is great. Her brother thinking he knocked up somebody, and it turns out no, spoilers. But wanting to be a dad anyways, and or wanting to be a dad when he thought it was his, and then he had like the smallest bit of hope that like he'd still want to be a dad even though it's not his, but douchebag. So I'm just saying, like, it's great. What is this Secrets trailer? Episode 101. Oh, so there's another show coming on called Secrets, apparently. So I'm really liking Life Sentence. I need to get caught up for this past week. And I'm... God, Riverdale. Riverdale's so good, but I just know that, like, the level of adventure it takes me on... I'm not ready for sometimes, and then when I am ready, I forget because the CW is its own thing, and it does not make it easy to watch. It is a very difficult user interface to do, and I hate that it's that way because I'd love for it to be easier to use so they could do it better. Particularly, let me sign in, make a playlist, and watch what I want to watch. I'll pay for commercial free. The thing. iZombie, stop doing that, CW. Okay, yeah, so I'm not behind as I thought. Oh yeah, her getting her tooth knocked out. That was interesting, and like looking at it, it looks like it's really gone. So I have no idea what they did to her to make it look like she's missing a tooth so well. But it's a great. I still think it's a great little show. But it's going to implode this season. It's got to. You're having an active problem of not having enough human brains for a zombie city to eat. It's going to go nuclear fast. And what's going to happen is that in this situation, like, God, you can look at it from a Marxist perspective if you really want to, where like it ends up dividing into the rich and the poor revolt and kill the rich because they outnumber. But this is going to be more of an even split. So you're going to have the Graves Institute or whatever, and you're going to have the Church of Zion or whatever the fuck it is, and you're going to have two kind of equal parties. The problem is that the Wendell Graves or whatever they are, have soldiers. They're going to be equipped. They don't have as many soldiers as they used to. Oh, look, they're the upper class because they control all the brains, which equates to money. And then you have the People's Church, which represents the poor, the needy, who are trying to rise up and take the resources from the rich. Oh my god, it really is. It's a Marxist rebellion. Oh god, iZombie, you just became exhausting. I think I'm behind on Black Lightning too, because I've really been enjoying that. It's a nice difference in superhero style shows, and I think the last one I remember watching was he was training one of his daughters. So I think I've got a couple episodes to catch up on there. But I'm really looking forward to see kind of how it goes, because like it's turning into like like an Incredibles almost, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that develops as a family dynamic. Whereas like I kind of wish the Flash would drop his team and just be the Flash. And the Arrow, like I really thought the whole big deal on him was that he didn't need a team. Oh, I should probably look at Supergirl, make sure, see how far behind I'm on all this. Oh man. So Supernatural, what the fuck? Okay, so what the fucking about? I just paused it. What the fuck I'm about is like I think I remember episode 13-17 because I'm recognizing most characters in there, but 13-16 is Scooby-Doo. So they have an animated version. I don't understand why you do that. And so no, I did not see 13-17. I saw 13-15 probably then. Because that's on the 8th of March, 29th of March. That's a big gap to me. 3 weeks, that's a big gap. So I can get caught up in Supernatural coming this weekend. I'm gonna have a lot of good stuff to watch tomorrow. And then there's the stuff with the Flash. Let's see. Iris Run is the last thing, so that's still behind or off air or a hiatus, whatever you want to call it. The 616, March 29th. Okay, so that's the same 3-week gap, so I've got to get caught up in Arrow. I don't know what the Thanatos Guild is. I remember Secret of Mana Thanatos. He was like essentially it was a cult. Now I don't remember that he had like a lot of followers or anything, but like that's what it was. It was a big spooky mansion, and there was like a little tiny cult in it or something. Guest starring John Noble is the name of the episode for DC Legends of Tomorrow. They crazy. I saw the whole stuff with Ava. I guess it's supposed to be a reference to iRobot. They did a whole thing where like she's from a clone factory of some kind of the perfect woman. And good for Captain Lance, but it's not doing much for me. And Supergirl's on hiatus still. So I forgot to roll back Hulu. What do you mean my history's empty? Don't lie to me, Hulu. Don't do that. Alright, so what if I just pop back to page 6 and then roll forward? Okay, so page 6 still has Food Wars from... Oh, wait a minute. It has Food Wars from 9 days ago? Pfft. Like, we gotta go back like 3 weeks here, for real. So let's do 10. It's only 14 days ago. I watched too much shit. It's just the reality of Discovery. Okay, 29 days is probably too far. So yeah, so I get caught up on Married, which is a great show. I love seeing Judy Greer. Lucifer has surprisingly continued to uphold its standard. I'm really surprised at how well that show can go when it's a murder mystery show that's not about the murders. It's about like the romantic and family dynamic amongst all the friends surrounding the murders. The murders are just a mechanic to get all these people in these situations. And Lucifer is the only character who seems to be cognizant of that, because he never focuses on the murder itself. He tends to focus on his own problems, and hilarity ensues based on that. Let's see here. The Mick has reached an interesting point. We went through a lot of bodily harm in the last few episodes. Chip destroying his hand. Sabrina like went through the whole thing about Yale or whatever, and they figured out exactly how dangerous a sword can be when you whack it around. But with Sabrina, like she actually like lost her toe. She may have brain damage. Mickey cut her ear with the sword. And then Elba actually had like a romantic relationship, which was really cool to see, because you don't, like, I'm just gonna be honest here, I'm not body shaming anyone. You just typically don't see on television big people have relationships when they're not, especially women, have those relationships unless they're particularly famous or something like that. Now, we can point out other exceptions that I do watch, like American Housewife, Kevin Can Wait, things like that. But Kevin James, I think, has his own thing, own other factors going in. American Housewife is a better thing. It's just, on that show, with all the Richie Rich assholes, and then Mick, who's supposed to be like trailer trash hot, it's cool to see Alba get her something. That's all I'm saying. And the American Housewife itself actually came to a weird spot, because with the death of Spencer, setting up all this tension about possible money, and then actually like literally having the show tell you that money's not the answer, money ruins things, and then puts them back right in the middle of their problems. Now, granted, they weren't really going to fix any of their problems when they had the money, but it was a fun little like tension bit to see that. Let's see. Fresh off the boat, I don't remember. I remember Luce was trying to wrestle with, like, taking the restaurant on by himself. The middle has reached weirdness. It's hit the same Degrassi weirdness. So it's like the kids are too old. Like, Sue's finally trying to go for dude, and it's like, it's just too late, is what it seems like. But it's not, if she just went for it. And then he's stupid because he's not going for it either. So it's like, if you like each other, just bang already. It's fun. Like, all the shows are kind of hitting this, like, some kind of big milestone altogether. Speechless did as well. Like, the whole thing with Dad wanting to be an architect again and whatnot. So he's, like, set up an aspiration of some kind. And I want to say they made a move to buy their house back. No, they failed to do so, and they were on the front lawn the last time I looked. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that show again whenever it comes back around. Let's see. Superstore. So they had a whole episode, like, they've kind of gone into like a philosophical development over the past couple episodes, where they did like an amnesty episode. It's like, if you did anything bad, you can admit it. You get one free pass. And like, you see like characters that normally kind of act like shitbags. They're like, well, we are lazy, but we don't do things that are wrong. Like, how do we take advantage of this? And like, so they do like very little things. And whereas like all the characters that normally don't do anything, it's like they killed a man once just to watch him die. Shit like that. And what was the latest one? So, and then the focus has kind of been on like Amy and what's his name? Joel? I don't know. The one Kelly's dating, the little hipster jerk. The two big characters, anyways. Like, focusing there, and that's kind of shifted to Amy dating her guy. So now it's gonna be this fun thing of, oh, they like each other, but they're seeing other people, so that tension's gonna finally build under scrutiny and then pop. And there's a couple ways you can deal with that. The fun way, I always thought, was to hook the other two up first. So, like, they're mad about their exes cheating on them, or mad or sad or whatever, with each other's exes, and so they have to find comfort in that. And so it's less of a sexy scenario and actually becomes a sweet scenario, because they're actually there for each other emotionally versus just, oh, I've got to have you. Type of thing. So, yay. Food Wars. I think I've talked about Food Wars enough. I don't ever want to hear about food in that level of detail ever again. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has finally lost its goddamn mind. They're trying to roll in the approach of Thanos along with, or into the S.H.I.E.L.D. series. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is played on such a misconcepted level that, like, it's like, okay, sure, whatever. And then Coulson and the last remaining of Hydra, which is not how fucking Hydra works. there are always more Hydra because of how they work. They have very aggressive recruiting memberships. It's not really like as elite as they make it seem. Like they incorporate senators and everything. Anybody they can get their hands on that they think will benefit from it, so that they can manipulate that benefit. So coming down to the last two members of Hydra with a bunch of robot soldiers, which makes it feel like they're just losing money and they can't afford to pay people to actually show themselves on camera. Hopefully, they're just done after Thanos does this thing, and we can get rid of the show, because we're building up to this whole thing where Daisy Johnson destroys the world, and I'm quite over it. If I'm being honest, like I already don't care over this huge world-ending climatic nonsense, and I'm more worried about like Gemma getting her fits on. Like that's just more concerning at this point. Coulson having to fight some psycho hottie Barbie doll and the Air Force person in charge of Hydra now. I can't wait. Like, if they introduce like more Hydra, that would actually be a cool way to spin the show. Is change it over to Hydra, make a new series called Agents of Hydra, or Marvel's Agents of Hydra. That would actually be cool. Or even have the Shield guys take over Hydra, and then run it like that. I don't know. Bob's Burgers had some fun episodes. I loved the episode about them trying to find the hidden room in the school. It reminded me a lot of like old like Goonie style stuff. Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. Yeah, I'm old, whatever. So like it was kind of cool to see that little bit of history kind of rotate back in and be in again. Family Guy lost its fucking mind with Patrick Stewart as this therapist and Stewie, and it just long drawn out jokes that weren't that funny, and it was really a whole episode of like, what? Why are you doing this? Like, don't love your audience, love them. Let's see, Last Man. Oh god, and then the episode after that one with where they're pretending to be Sherlock Holmes. That was really a lot of forced bullshit and just stupidness. Last Man on Earth has been really interesting. They fast forwarded again, like about 10 months or something like that, because the cannibal guy blew himself up. So that resolved itself. Carol is trying to bang, or Carol wanted to bang early on with her guy. God, names, and so, like, for whatever reason, they greenlighted it, and she got knocked up again, even having the twins. And then Todd's literally losing his mind, because not only did the kid run away, and surprisingly enough, Blondie was taking care of him, so that was really sweet. But they proposed like Erica like have a baby with Todd, and then because Erica's lesbian married to the drunk, I can't remember their names. It's not important in that show at all. Gail. Like, they kind of didn't want to do it, but Erica had some time to recover. She's so happy about her kid, she wanted to give that to Todd. And then she would have as many, or she'd be back in the game with the amount of babies made, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's really kind of hard to dig out motivations, because, like, Todd, like, spent like 7 months or something like growing a beard and playing with trains, and then finally figures out that Carol's pregnant, and he goes Godzilla all over his train set. And then Erica makes him so happy. Oh man. I did try to watch Mary Kills People, Bloody Mary. It's a good show. It's really well put together. It just didn't grab me. If you like Dexter, I'm willing to bet you're gonna like Mary Kills People. And I never got into Dexter either. It's almost too real, and that's what a lot of people like about like in CIS and Dexter and stuff. Because she doesn't go around like murdering people who deserve it per se. She goes around killing people who want to die. Like, she is Kevorkian essentially. She's performing assisted suicides more than she's committing murders, but she's getting away with it. So there's actually like a very interesting mechanical bit to that bit of like how she's getting away with the murders. Neil Patrick Harris never fails to surprise me whenever he's doing a new enterprise. He came out with Genius Jr., which is exactly what I've been talking about with Ricky Gervais's show. I don't give a fuck about the adults on Ricky Gervais's show. I just want to see the kids answer shit. Like, that was the interesting part of that show. Fuck the adults on that show. And Neil Patrick Harris did that. He just has, like, genius kids. Like, legitimate, real genius kids from all over the nation that have scored X amount of accolades. And they tell you all about them on the show. They team them up together. So you actually have, like, 6 of them on a show together, like, on 3-man teams. And so there's, like, a whole tournament bracket for the season with a big cash prize at the end. So instead of it being, like, huge prize for, like, third of the episode, it's a huge prize for the season with a couple smaller prizes for the daily appearances. Let's see here. Genius Jr. Somehow I watched The Voice. We can just pretend that didn't happen. More Married, more Lucifer. First Off the Boat. Happy Endings. I started trying to watch Happy Endings at one point again. And the blonde lady, who I cannot remember her name right now, is great. And the whole cast of the show is great. And actually her sister, her character's sister anyways, is actually pretty good too. And she's in Future Man. That's where I know her from, is this. The guy who plays Coach and New Girl is on here. It's actually a really good cast. And they do really well. They don't do great. I can't like write you an epic story about like how much I love the show. It's just good. And so if you take the time to watch it, I really doubt you'll be disappointed, but it's not going to wow you. It's not going to knock your socks off. So just kind of go in with that expectation. I think you'll be fine. I think I mentioned American Housewife that their neighbor, the rich criminal neighbor Spencer, died. So like they went through that whole ordeal of like, did they leave us money? Did they not? Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, Speechless. There's a really like fun side story of Dylan, the girl, like actually wrestling boys, and then she actually finds someone she likes in that same division. With her standards, I actually found that impressive. More Food Wars for fucking whatever reason. Help me. Yeah, I don't want to think or talk about this show again. Like, Meat's like fun to say, but she's not my favorite character. I don't know. And I just talk about food so much, and I don't care. It's so horrible to say. But it's the same reason like Kirigara I couldn't get into because I don't like gambling that much. Maria Thayer was in Married. That was fun. I like Maria Thayer, but I can't really point to anything except for Eagleheart that she's really been a major part of. She was in the movie Accepted. She was the redhead. And she's been on 30 Rock, and she does like side bits everywhere. And that's what she is. She's like the hot ex-girlfriend of the husband character in here. And it did not end well, apparently. I'm trying to remember what was happening on Brooklyn Nine-Nine that was worth fucking talking about. It's really hard. I did not watch Workaholics. I don't know why that's on there. You can really tell where I fell asleep. So we've already talked about Agent S.H.I.E.L.D., more Food Wars. There is a lot of Food Wars. I'm not going to lie about that. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think I watched the Mick the car twice. They bought like an old police car and then locked the little kid in the back seat on accident. And then Mickey got stuck in the trunk because she was the only part she could get open, and then it closed on her. And so it was just like one mess after the next. It was great. AP Bio's good. I really am enjoying. I enjoyed this last episode a lot. He's so unbelievable the way he talks about like banging in front of the kids and everything else. It's just like, oh wow, just what do you got for me today, Teach? Let me know. And then the show does the same thing to you. Like the last episode that came out, it was the baby episode where like all the kids had these malfunctioning, unhappy babies. So like the world's just crying and crazy and everything, and he's losing his mind, and so he finally piles up all the babies and drowns them in the pool. And it's one of the funniest fucking scenes I've ever seen. If they were real babies, it would be sad, but since they're fake babies, it's fucking awesome. And he has like the black eye to make himself look super crazy because the girl I love on that show, Heather, and I've seen some of her other stuff, and I went and watched some movies and stuff too. I'll get to that. She's actually really awesome. She's a good actress, or whatever you want to call it. She is not valued enough on that show, but she's doing awesome with Heather, because if you see that, okay boss, that character, that's not her at all, and it's great. Let's see. I went back and watched Selfie because it came up, and Karen Gillan is awesome. And I don't think I've ever loved her more as maybe Nebula. Maybe Nebula comes close, but I love watching her be just a horrible, shitty personality, and she captures it beautifully in Selfie. And Selfie's really like a meta conversation about like how horrible or good different age brackets are, like on a social scale. So, and the false importance of appearance and all that. So it's really cool to see a show discuss that, because you don't see it a whole lot. Well, we are wrapping up here, I promise, because now we're all into repeats of stuff I already talked about. I did take a watch for You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and I really think because of this, if nothing else, I think I'm gonna rotate Adam Sandler into Bad Movie Club after we get through with some of the bad superhero movies. I think that's coming. It's yet to be determined, but it's where my heart is right now. I also ran back into Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty was a great show to pick up after all this time. I can't believe it. It's great, and I can watch a lot of those, like not on repeat, but I can watch the seasons on repeat, because there's so much to think about, and so many different things in each show. Gabriel Iglesias made it onto Modern Family because he looks kind of like Manny, and it was a fucking beautiful practical joke. I wish I had something that good happen in front of me in real life. So Good Girls is one of the shows I mentioned from ABC. Christina Hendricks in all her glory and beauty, and there's both the other ladies that are on there I recognize. One of them is from Scott Pilgrim. She was the lesbian lover, the fourth ex or whatever. But she's really tightened up, so she literally looks different. She looks healthier. And I've seen her on other shows where it's like she's the thick, edgy girl. And they kind of reared that back and grew her up as a character. So I'm glad to see that. But she's still kind of playing that role, where her attitude is what makes her. And that's great. That's fine. But it's all about a show where they all three of them end up in bad situations. They all need money for different reasons. And so they decide to rob a grocery store of all places. And then it's one fuck up after the next. And then even when they get things right, it turns out the grocery store is being used or owned or deposited in by a gang. So the gang pays them a visit, and they start working with them to try to stay alive at first, and then they actually do business. So it was really cool to see that kind of aspect. It's a nice strong female protagonist type show. Matthew Lillard's in it, which I thought was great. And the blonde girl that he ends up banging instead of Christina Hendricks. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. I don't know why you would do that, but I recognize her as well, even if she doesn't have a huge part. So it's cool to see people you recognize in shows. It's oh, I'm glad you're still working. The other show that was on NBC that I've been trying to catch up on because the episodes are starting to drop off is Rise, and it feels like the next Glee, except with less singing. Because Glee was almost a series of music video with continuity in between. I gotta wrap this up quicker. But this is more about like theater than musicals per se, but they are working on that thing. So it's all about kind of like the meta narrative of what's happening with theater in high schools and whatnot, and versus like sports. And then of course, you've got the jock that's pulled in both directions. But of course, all the jocks on the team are a bunch of assholes. They're transist or they're sexist, something along those lines. So. Of course, if you're playing the morality card, you're going to go with the people who don't suck. So it is what it is. So I'm really looking forward to finishing up with that and seeing where it goes, because it's got a very like delicate balance to it, because it seems like anytime a character kind of strays from anything or like takes a risk, it ends up failing on them and blowing up kind of epically. So I want to see that. I want to see the parallels to the literal and the figurative within the story. I think it's doing a real good job, and it's got a good cast too. I recognized somebody. Oh yeah, Mosby's in there. If you've watched How I Met Your Mother, Mosby's the main teacher that's involved. And the kids I don't recognize as much. Because let's face it, they're kids. They're actually using like kids in this instead of in Glee, where they were using 22-year-olds at least. So yay, there's that. That's the last page. Yeah, we can move on. We're gonna do Amazon real quick because it won't take that long. Then we'll finish up with Netflix. Daphne, you get a shot. Take a watch of Daphne. I thought that was Jessica Chastain on the cover. It's not, but it's an interesting enough show. It's about kind of a self-destructive woman who ends up in England, who ends up witnessing a murder during a convenience store robbery, and she ends up saving the guy's life, and it affects her in a kind of a weird way. And yeah, she kind of sluts her way around, and she's welcome to do that if she wants to, but the point is that she's doing it because she's dealing with trauma in her life, and she's just trying to feel a certain way, and it's not the way to do it. It's not always the way to do it. I don't remember what young adult is. I went through and I was looking at things. I'm trying to knock them off my list. The Lobster. I can actually talk about the Lobster. I should have gone through this and just done that. Because if you go through your browsing history, you can find the stuff you've been looking at. I did watch Predator for Scary Movie Squad. We got to do Predator 2 in like 15 minutes. So I'm trying to wrap this up a little bit. Mythica, Quest for Heroes. See, some of these are not... Oh, Absentia I can talk about. And Star Trek... I got a special bond with Star Trek. I can watch that pretty much any time on repeat. It's I don't know what it is. It's just good to me. Like it's not necessarily like award winning, but it's enjoyable. It's palatable, and I don't have a lot of requirements for it. I have no idea what Mythica was. It's on my watch list. I did watch Valerian a while back. I don't know if I've talked about that. I thought it was all right. Feel like people shit on it. More, and I think it's just because they're not invested, and I think if you stop trying to be invested, you enjoy it more, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be good. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't remember it. Something about a girl going back to Chicago from LA because someone cheated on her. I don't remember what Rebound is. I don't want to hit play and get into like trying to discover what it is, because if I don't remember, it's not worth talking about. Young adult, I feel like I remember the dog. She was lying a bunch. She like checked in the hotel and was like, I don't have a dog, and the dog's in her bag. Oh yes, she was super crazy. She goes back to her town to sleep with an ex of hers again because she wants to recapture her heyday. But Patton Oswalt's there, and he's a kid. Or he was a kid that got the shit kicked out of him, and like he's got like a bent dick, and like one of his legs doesn't work right, like that level of damaged. And so she kind of befriends him while she's trying to nail the guy that she wants to nail, even though he's married with a baby that just came on the way or whatnot. So she's super crazy into him, but of course she ends up sleeping with Patton Oswalt, and I don't remember if they stay together, but like it was definitely the healthier of the two paths for relationships, because she was like making up shit between them before, and it was just not good. I will say the movie between for the Lobster, fuck, I want to do a review on this, on like a video, and I want to talk about this more because this was fucking crazy. When people break up in the real world, apparently, or at least in the city, I don't know what the world's like. Like if you're single, you get sent to a hotel, and then if you don't find who you fall in love with, you get turned into an animal and then released or whatever, or killed and eaten, whatever it is. It's really kind of fucked, a fucked system. So like anyone who's a loner is what they call them. It's kind of like off on their own, living in the woods. Now, and there's a society of loners, but they've all decided not to couple. So no banging, no romance, nothing like that. Where our main character of, oh God, I forgot his name, Colin Farrell, ends up meeting Rachel Weisz because she's been living in that loner society, and they decide to couple anyways, but they're coupling in secret, and so they're like going off on missions and stuff. They've got all these secret handshakes and everything, but the way the movie is directed is like super straightforward. It's very much like the Invention of Lying, only it has a dramatic edge, so it's dry funny. It's yes, one does enjoy a toaster. And that's funny, but it's not said in a humorous fashion. Whereas, like, the Invention of Lying is like, oh, don't you just love toast? It's the most wonderful thing. Whereas, like, the other version, it's like, yes, everyone does love toast. So, like, the delivery is really different. When the whole movie's like that, it sets a tone. And eventually, like, you kind of feel or fall into it. So, The Lobster is really interesting. A Prime original of Absentia. If you're wondering what happened to Beckett after Castle, this is it. The whole series starts with the serial killer guy ends up releasing her technically, but they find her in a tank of water about to drown, and with a timer going off, so just long enough so that she would drown, but they could pull her out and rescue her. And apparently she's been captured for like 2 years or something. And then she tries to go back to her husband and her kid, but he's remarried at this point, so she can't live there, or she doesn't want to, something along those lines. I kind of lost interest after a couple episodes because I got tired and fell asleep, but there just wasn't enough keeping my attention with the whole situation because you only get so invested. And then you figure out that she's actually lying about shit and that she might actually be the kidnapper herself. She may have kidnapped herself. There's a lot of questions that appear, and I'm okay starting with a lot of questions or getting a question here or there along the way, but I don't like starting with a lot of questions, getting no answers, and then just getting more questions as the series goes on. It reminds me of Attack on Titan, and it really triggers me a little bit. I don't enjoy it. Alright, so we're going to finish up with Netflix, and I'm going to say right up front that I watched Series of Unfortunate Events like 3 times. Just because it's so good. It's really enjoyable, and it's great to fall asleep to, if I'm being honest, because I'm familiar with it, not because it's boring. So like I would just throw it on and fall asleep, because it's like, oh, mom's telling me a story, that sort of thing. But if we roll back a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, like, fuck, what is this? This is last week. Should probably go back farther. I don't really have time. But I know I talked about St. Clair died in Armageddon. Game Over Man. Yeah, you get to see some dick in that. Great, good for you. Those guys are the same guys from Workaholics. I don't really enjoy Workaholics. They have a very particular kind of comedy writing, and it feels like they want to be the next Adam Sandler and crew, or Seth Rogen or Kevin Smith. And they try really hard, and the main guy that you see show up is a good actor. He just goes over the top on his stuff, and he's not good at it. Or he's not good at it in the way that I appreciate it. I'll say that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we watched that for one of the movie nights for We Are Movie Club. The Overnight, great cast, weird concept. Essentially, this couple tricks this other couple into staying to try to bang them, but it's like reverse, so they're constantly being put on their toes of the situation. It's like, we've never done this before, we've never had this situation before, we've never had this situation before. So that part of it gets a little tiresome, and then there's like this whole big thing. I don't know what it was with me and Dix today, but where like Adam Scott's character is self-conscious about his dick because he thinks it's small, and the other guy's got like a big dick or whatever. So like they have a whole like dance contest with them naked, and obviously it's just really awkward because it's supposed to be like oh type of thing, and I just don't care. It's like, yeah, their dicks are out. Let's just move on. I did watch Doctor Strange at some point. Collie Gibran's The Prophet. I think I skipped that. Finding Dory. I think I fell asleep during that one because who gives a fuck. It's a good movie. It's got a bunch of cute stuff. Great animation. Pixar's wonderful. Watch it when you get a chance. Watch it with your family. Doctor Strange is fun. I still think Doctor Strange is funny more than it is anything else. Yeah, I think Khalil was subtitled, so I didn't watch it. Walk of Fame, Shimmer Lake. I'm gonna open some of these. I apologize if one of them starts playing. The Cobbler. I don't know why I like this. I think I just go looking for Adam Sandler movies at some point, and then I always find that one. Jeez, we're gonna hit these fast. Drama World is awesome. I was watching the Santa Clara Diet, and I like the daughter in that. I think she's probably the best actress actor in the whole show. So Drama World is another show where she's actually starring, and it's all about like her entering a world made up of Korean dramas, where she actually gets the opportunity to like engage with the content directly. So it's kind of interesting. Oh, Revolting Rhymes. It's this like kid show of rhyming things with like Mother Goose stories and like Little Red Riding Hood and whatnot. Mostly told from like a wolf's perspective of like how horrible the other characters are because they killed his family, and then it's actually like this weird revenge plot. I guess I didn't need to open that. So let's just pop through what I did open up real quick, and that'll finish out the show. Walk of Fame. I thought I recognized the main girl that's showing up in all the pictures. I really don't. I don't think I recognized anybody in this. But it's all about a bunch of people who want to be actors that probably wouldn't normally be actors, trying to act a play or whatever. And I think overall it was okay. I don't think it was enough for me to thumb it up. I really liked the girl who was playing like this part of my body's paralyzed. Because like, and I think it was just because she was supposed to be like the morally acceptable character out of the two leading ladies. Because the main guy we follow goes there to bang the blonde, who's the crazy actress lady, and then the brunette that is paralyzed on one side, like she's actually like the good person that like wins his heart. I'm gonna thumb it up right here as we're talking. Shimmer Lake. It's definitely a movie. It's a Netflix original. Oh yeah, it has the guy from Super in it. It has some of the other guys that show up in some of these movies too. It's all about like him running away from his brother, who's a cop, and he's trying to get away because there's a robbery of some kind there, and he's being held accountable for it. When I believe, there's a huge twist there. I actually don't want to ruin it. I'm gonna thumb it up too. I'm sitting here talking to you about it. Give it a watch. I'd say hit this one and see what's up, because it's actually a pretty interesting twist on how everything works. Especially like how little you could be involved and still be culpable for things. I definitely threw on Beauty and the Beast. It was another one of those things. I just wanted something nice and familiar. I still like the live action version, even if people have problems with it. I think Emma Watson is a strong actress, even if she didn't nail the singing parts. And the Beast is weird as a CG thing. I think there's other directions I would have taken it, but it's decent enough. And it's still a fun Disney movie, and it gives you nostalgia if you've got that going for the original. Hits. I definitely thumb this down. Oh yeah. So it's all about this stupid bitch who wants to get on The Voice, so she ends up banging some guy to professionally record her when he definitely didn't. We know she's not gonna make it, even though she has delusions, and then this rapper that is in love with her, thinks he's gonna make it, goes after her and supports her, and then her racist dad is trying to I'm sorry, you don't know he's racist until like the last 5 minutes of the movie, but he's trying to make all kinds of problems for City Hall because they're not doing anything. So it's really just a highlight of the world being fucking horrible. I already talked about The Cobbler real quick. I just enjoy the movie, really. Steve Buscemi's good, Adam Sandler's good. It's kind of a goofy way to incorporate more people into an Adam Sandler movie than normal. Price Check. I remember liking this. I do not remember the end of the movie, so I probably need to watch it. It was just cool to see like a somewhat modern Parker Posey go on, because she still got it. Not only is she a great actress, but she's very lovely. So even if you're not invested in it, you still got good stuff to look at. You've got interesting storyline going on at places, and she's fucking funny. So I definitely need to go back and check that out and see what the ending of that movie was. Absolutely anything. Simon Pegg gets godlike powers. Definitely hit that one. Happy Anniversary is weird. It's kind of a depressing comedy of like this couple and their shitty marriage, and what's happening there. So there's that. Band of Robbers. This was interesting because a bunch of idiots get the idea to rob a pawn shop or something. I think that's what it was. But it's like they chase a rumor mill into the like that, and they kind of like fail upwards into if I'm remembering correctly, they fail upwards into actually like getting the any payout of it. And Melissa Benoist is in this, but she's not credited in the beginning, and she's not in any of the video there. I think she had an important role. She's more important than one of the guys that's shown there. But it's like a modern retelling of Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn. I'm gonna go ahead and thumb it up right now. So it's interesting to see take something so classic and chalk it up like this. I already talked about Revolting Rhymes. Band of Robbers is what I was just talking about. And that's cool. Like I definitely need to go and look at Price Check and see how that ends, but I'm going to do that later. So that's going to bring us to a close. I got to start Predator 2. Go ahead and meet us over on Rabbit/Kamurai. And I can't wait to watch movies with you over there on the stuff. But that's been things and stuff we've talked about. Went for good enough time there for being so rushed. But until I see you next time, have a nice day. Want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations and they'll take you to other channels. Thanks for watching.